Hi guys, Alex here, BlueMoonRisingTV. I'm joined by Stephen. We've just watched Manchester City get taken to shreds by Leicester City. 4-2 to Leicester. Jamie Vardy hat-trick. He's not had a shot on target since September. He had 3 today and scored them all. Pretty gutting. We're going to go through it piece by piece. This is completely live, so if you've got comments, if you're watching now, get them in, get your questions involved. We'll go through them very shortly. While you're there, if you're disappointed, hit the like button. I guess that's what we're going to go for.
That's a thumbs up if you're really sad.
But get involved. We're in the freezing cold. We're doing this so you don't have to. So at least that word deserves a like. Stephen, there's so much to go through. There's so many different reasons why it might have gone wrong. I think we missed Fernandinho most of all. I think we missed Otamendi. He'll be back for Wednesday night. That's a plus. Where did it go wrong for you?
It's bigger than that, I think, in general. I think it's just the whole status of a club in transition. I've been stood thinking about it for the past hour or so, and it's been it's kind of hard to sum such a big thing into one or two small little problems. Because I think in general there is problems with the club at the moment that we are looking to solve, and that Pep is looking to solve. That it's going to take time, and I know everyone hates that word about patience, and everyone looks at Conte and says, "Well, look at him winning games straight away." But we are trying to build a bigger thing. We are trying to set an identity. We're trying to create a way that we're going to play even when Pep moves on, that the new manager, when Pep moves on, will take over and do the exact same thing. He's not been brought in to be pragmatic and to win immediately, and that in itself is a problem if you want immediate success, if you want to see us grind out results. That is not what we're going to do, and it does have the days like today, and there is some problems there. We do need to obviously replace certain players. We need to obviously find players more suitable to a style, but obviously in the short term, people like Fernandinho would have helped. Of course they would. Fernandinho is the heartbeat of this team. Otamendi, even though I'm not his biggest fan, he is obviously a purpose-built centre-back. I'm sure he maybe would have read some of the runs of Vardy a little bit better than 3 centre-backs would have done, so 3 full-backs in defence would have done. But it's a very, very hard answer to a very complex question.
Do you think you said that it's a bigger issue and that maybe it's a cultural thing at the club and there's a lot going on? But I can't be deluded, but I think we outplayed Chelsea last week, and I think the week before we went to Burnley and we were really convincing and we won there. So do you think actually, whilst I don't deny there are bigger issues, maybe there isn't as much cause for concern?
Maybe an issue, maybe bigger picture in terms of how it's one of the situations where things like this are definitely going to happen while we go through this transition, because basically I think we're stepping into unknown for us because we're trying to create an identity, and we've obviously got players who can't play this way, and Pep is trying to force these square holes into this perfect Philip Lahm or Messi shaped circle or whatever, and it's not going to happen because these players aren't that. But I understand why they're doing it and I agree with it, but I also get frustrated when we watch us play badly, but I also understand why we're doing it, why we're trying to be what we're trying to be, and why we're trying to make these decisions. But it's one of those things that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when you watch it, but it's very easy to just throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, well, we're all crap, get rid of every player. It isn't as simple as that. It isn't as simple as that we're going to win every game. It isn't as simple that we're going to lose every game, and we aren't all of a sudden a bad team. It's mad. Football is so fickle. We score in the 60th minute against Chelsea, Kevin De Bruyne puts that way, we win that game 3-0, we probably even win today, but it didn't happen, and we are in a club in transition. But it doesn't make it easy to accept sometimes. It is difficult, definitely.
I think it's the catchphrase at the minute, isn't it? Transition. And to an extent, I agree with you. Don't you go through the comments?
Yeah.
I completely see where you're coming from. It feels like Guardiola has a lot to learn about the players. I think he has a lot to learn about Manchester City. But as fans, we've got a lot to learn about him, and it feels like we need to find that common ground, and we're still sort of working it all out. Let's see what have you got there for us.
Lescott is a free agent. Get him in there.
Lescott is a free agent. Get him in there. I think maybe. We looked at Jolie Lescott was making all the errors that we're making today. And
he has no pace. Iheanacho was shocking as well. I think Jayden Daly said that. I think in general, Iheanacho never plays football ever. He gets 5 minutes every 3 or 4 games usually. He's a young lad in a team today that play pretty shit, if we're being honest, in general. And we had the big players like Silva, De Bruyne, or whatever. They didn't step up and support the young lad. I know he's a very good player, and he does have raw edges. Of course, Iheanacho has raw edges. He's 19 and rarely plays football, but his goals per minute record and his assists and all that is phenomenal. And he's a raw diamond that we need to help polish. United fans love Rashford, even though he does have games where he's pretty average. We can't just then crucify Iheanacho because he doesn't act like Sergio Aguero. It's a ridiculous assumption to presume that Iheanacho is going to be Aguero just like that. He needs patience. He obviously could be good enough one day. He's 19 years old. Get that logic.
I 100% believed this morning that Kelechi was going to do the business today.
Likewise.
And do you know what? Maybe we put a little bit too much pressure on him as a kid. I think the way he plays his game. But you know what? Today, I don't think he was great, but also it wasn't like he had chances. Do you know what? Last week, Aguero had chance after chance after chance against Chelsea and didn't take them. I think Kelechi had one chance that I think he probably should have scored. But in a game of half chances,
We're dancing with Paulie.
I'm looking at your phone. I'm looking at your phone.
Oh yeah, look at the comments here. This is what's going on.
All right, what else have we got for us, Stephen?
What's what we've got going on here? Pep's ego is killing us. Clearly, he's never seen Leicester play. We played right into their hands from back there.
Steve Suzuki saying bring back Mancini. Now, this is something that I heard on the terraces quite a lot today. I've heard an awful lot of people saying about Mancini. I mean, I hear that, and that translates to Guardiola out. And I don't want to get into that.
Look, in general, people need to stop harping for the past. Stop looking at Mancini. Stop looking at, and I'm guilty of this, we all do it as humans, but sometimes we are in an era of nostalgia where we always crave what has happened. Stop looking at Mancini. Stop looking at Joe Hart. Stop looking at all these players that used to be. They're gone. Just genuinely accept that they've gone. And now just think, what can we do moving forward as a club, as a fan base? We can't sit there and moan, oh, it was better than under Mancini. Was it absolute bollocks? We were good for one season, but then we did have moments where he was having players mutinying. We can't just pretend everything was perfect then. It wasn't perfect under Mancini. It wasn't perfect under Pellegrini. It won't be perfect under Guardiola. But all these managers do have their moments. Guardiola will have his moments where he's brilliant as well. We just got a little bit of patience and general have trust in this idea, because Rome wasn't built in a day. And to become one of the greatest clubs in the world, that isn't going to happen either. You can't just hire a manager and win everything. You have to trust his ideals and see the project through. That's how I feel about it.
I agree with you. I think that there needs to be some patience. I think at the start of the season, we were all saying, you know what, it'll take him a bit of time to bed in, and we all had said, I think everyone was saying, top 4, do well in a cup competition, hit the last 16 of Champions League, move on there, and we've done that, and people are giving Pep stick. That said, though, Stephen, we won 10 games out of 10. We look superb, and it does feel like over the last few games we are diminishing in quality.
Yeah, can I say as well, people saying, look, Hart's better than Bravo and whatever, shut up and blah, blah, etc. Do you know what? I am not even arguing that. What I'm saying is what he's done is done. If you want to sit there and moan about Hart not being here anymore, well done. But guess what? Nothing's going to happen. It's not going to change. And you can sit there and just cry about it if you want to. And maybe there is problems with Bravo. And whatever's happened to Bravo is he was a great keeper. He won Keeper of the Year twice over in Spain. He's Chile's captain. He was absolutely phenomenal then for years. And now he's the keeper who's lost all his confidence. I don't know how it's happened, but he wasn't a crap keeper when we signed him. Maybe he's lost his form. Maybe he's lost all that kind of hope in general. But Joe Hart isn't coming back. I agree, maybe it's not the problem, but we can't just sit there and boo Bravo. It's ridiculous. And it's childish. I don't like it when we're booing a player.
Yeah. If you're watching at home, if you're disagreeing with us, get involved in the comments. If you're agreeing with us, if you've got questions, if there's something else you want to talk about, get involved in the comments. We're going to go through them. I agree with you. I'm just going to finish that point on Bravo. I completely agree with you. But do you think Bravo is the man? Yes or no?
I think it could have been, but at the moment is a problem. I think sometimes when the problem for me is that it looks like negativity setting in, and that's hard to shake. I feel like what you need to with players out of form, you do it for a defender, you do it for a forward, and you do it for a midfielder. For a keeper, maybe he needs to be taken out of the limelight a little bit, just because logically it's a bit toxic, and that's what I worry about. I don't doubt there is quality in somewhere, but when you're a striker and you score, look at Aguero against Burnley. When he scored, he looked a yard quicker. When you're a keeper and you're confident, you look bigger. When you're not confident, you look smaller. At the moment, he looks small in goal. Bravo. He's not getting his hands to shots that maybe he would have saved at Barcelona or for Chile or so on. It's not happening for him. I don't think he's a bad keeper. I think his confidence has been lost. But yeah, what do you think about Bravo?
No, I think you're bang on. I think us booing him isn't going to help, but I also think maybe he does need a little bit of a rest. All right, we've talked about Bravo. I want to hear about Stones. I want to hear about 3/4 at the back. I want to hear people talking about where it went wrong. Weird game from Zabaleta. Another weird performance from Kolarov. He got us a goal, but
McDre saying, "Used to look cold. Go home. We are cold. We're going to have some drinks.
I think we're going to get warm ourselves with a beer very soon. But let's keep going. Geronimo Rulli, of course, out playing in Spain. I think he comes back in the summer. Is that an option there?
Potentially, yeah. It's a weird one. I think we don't even own him, but we can buy him back if we want to. But I don't know much about Geronimo Rulli. I'm going to pretend to do. I don't think Bravo will last very long. I don't.
Big call there. Someone just said I missed the name. Cheeky is the problem.
Cheeky is the problem.
Now people slagging off Guardiola. People
the heartbreak
giving
kick. Pavash, HBK Pavash. Cheeky is the problem. Maybe. Well, I don't really know who signed what or why people signed who, but you'd think. I would have liked to have hoped we maybe would have had a squad of players that were more suitable to a Guardiola style of play so far. I do wonder. I've got a working theory that we haven't signed any fullbacks because most are pretty crap. in general. I don't think there is a load of great fullbacks in the world. If they are, they're at big clubs. I can't think of any names, and don't say Ricardo Rodriguez or whatever, Fabinho. There's a reason these are playing for Wolfsburg and Monaco still, because they are in their mid-20s. They're not exactly the answer. They might be good one day, but I don't think they're going to come in and exponentially improve our team to another level. I think if we could have signed them if we wanted to, but there must be a reason why we haven't signed them yet. I think we're waiting for someone.
Let's talk about forwards. Let's talk about Pablo Maffeo, who I thought was, he did a job against Celtic. He didn't set the world alight, but he performed. We're talking about the United game in the League Cup where he was man of the match. Someone has talked about on a fan cam, he's the man. It's not playing Sanya at centre half and Zabba at wing back. Give Pablo Maffeo a go in the league. We've got Watford at home. Is Maffeo capable?
Totally. Maffeo, I remember going watching him a couple of years ago. I remember seeing him 17 years old, being put as centre-back to kind of learn the game in the back three by Vieira for the EDS. And back then he was playing as centre-back, so I'd been 5'8", probably been 17 years old, against people 21, 22, sometimes even like 26, because you can play reserve strikers. And he was excellent then, he always has been. I've got a lot of love for Maffeo. He's a tenacious warrior of a player, he's a battler, he is wise beyond his years, he's likeable, he's got energy, he's pace. I would 100% have him involved a lot more. Against United, that was the Maffeo I'd watched, in the academy player in the teams, because he's a warrior. I think he should definitely be involved more regularly, because I think he's a fantastic young fullback.
If you just joined us, we're live outside the King Power Stadium. We've just watched City, get taken to pieces by Leicester City 4-2. We're going through your comments and your questions, getting the feedback in.
Deserves a try. Replace Company. Well, we're going to try to do that. Phil Foden should start. He's a bit too young there, Mac. He's only 16 today. I watched him, and I think a lot of people are saying play Foden, but with great respect, I'm sure most of them haven't watched every game, and he is only young. Great player, get involved, but he's not ready to start yet. Trust me on that one.
Someone just made a really good point about Jurgen Klopp giving a 3-goal lead away last weekend at Bournemouth. Do you think Guardiola's think Guardiola's under more pressure than say Jurgen Klopp is?
It's because you live and die by your own sword, don't you? And Guardiola has a reputation of being the biggest manager in world football, and people want him to fail. It's the reason people want Mourinho to fail as well. People want someone up there. Most people don't want Klopp to fail, because he's like everyone likes Klopp, and Guardiola, he's got a reputation of managing obviously with Bayern and Barca, and people just want him to not succeed, and so there is more pressure on Guardiola instinctively. All
right, let's go through one last point, and then we're going to wrap up.
New striker, need faster fullbacks. Laporte would have been great, but he obviously didn't want to come. Angelino's a good player, but I'm not convinced he's totally ready yet, but I would like to see him get a chance.
Someone just said, we'll have a brother. Someone said KDB was poor. Do you think KDB individually was poor, or was it a team?
Well, he's part of the team, and individually he was poor. Yeah, even the team wasn't. I thought we stood in the stands watching that, and there was so many times where I think I said to Paul at one point, that is the worst thing I've ever seen De Bruyne do in a blue shirt. Well, it wasn't a blue shirt, a City shirt. When he played one cross, when he just drilled it aimlessly past the keeper into the stands. It was poor. He's a player that is better than today, a lot better than today, and I'm not going to slag him off too much. But he had a bad game. He had a very bad game. I don't think Silva was particularly useful. But in general, he needs to be better. He doesn't think.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. The rain is just about to stop, so we're going to make a dash back somewhere. We can upload the fan cams. There's obviously loads of passionate reactions. Keep your eyes out for those. They're going to be going up very, very soon. Cheers for joining us. If you're watching this on a catch-up, get involved in the comments. It's not too late for you to have your say. That's what it's there for. This is Blue Moon Rising TV. We'll see you again.
See you later.